Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice. For our last episode, we already did a big amount of our investigation, and we got ourselves a lot of info about Acro, Leon, Bat, even stuff out of Moe too. And yeah, hopefully we can get those info out during the whole trial exposed, so let's start. December 30th, 9:41 a.m. Then at lobby number 5. Good morning, Max. Oh yeah, good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Tee-hee. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina. How fabulous, my sweetie pie princess. Came to watch my performance today. Of course I did. Moe told me if I should come and watch this. Moe said that? Well, so what kind of performance we put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of a show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on. Or even worse, she is. Well, Max, looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'll just be a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top the morning to ya. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in the legal limbo. How low can you go? Moe. Top the morning, you Geiner? Top the morning. That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with the energy in the morning. Early bird gets the worm, but then again, worm lacks higher brain function. Okay, that's not funny. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk. Oh my, thanks. So how are you today, Wright? Well, I got a feeling that today I'm going to face off against a real culprit. You mean Acro? Huh, you think he did? Be careful. He used to putting his life on the line, literally. He's got guts to spare. That's all I got to worry about how thin this tight roof is. I'm used to it already. It just means I won't be able to press him like I can with the other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do our usual psychological warfare. They rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro into the truth. You're right. It's gonna be tough. Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. And she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. Oh, so that's why you brought her. You want to show her the father's killer in front of her. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes, that's why I brought her to the court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know when people die, and that's when they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. Because the reality is, they gotta find how death works after all in this world, so. Alright, court now in session for the trial Maximum Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or should I say, a new eyewitness. Your third witness, basically. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off the scene of the crime. Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to revision, we are prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation that the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Feels Gumshoe, man. Very well, please call your witness to the stand. Man, I miss Edgeworth. Edgeworth and Gumshoe make a great pair. Time to get to work, or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Name and occupation? Ken Dingling, but everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the very big circus. Where are you at the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you'll see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. My crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime was the witness saw something quite shocking. Will you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. He's gonna explain how she flew. It was just after 10 p.m. I was resting in my bed. Around that time I heard a large thump noise outside from my window. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw her from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. The witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there's very little the prosecution need to add. That's left to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to heal the foolish sadness of a sad fool. Man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edge. Can you not bring him up? Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Miss Von Carlo, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well, you may proceed with your cross-examination. She keeps bringing up Edgeworth. She thinks it's personal. And like, it's letting it get that in the head of her. You said that you were resting in bed? One thus would assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct, but there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains? I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Oh, sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. Oh! The witness will proceed with his testimony. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. You said that you were resting in bed. That is correct. But you were able to still hear a sound from the outside. I was indeed. Pressing Acro doesn't mean results. Maybe something was contradicting what he said just now. Nah. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? That's nothing, Your Honor. Until I could find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. She's waiting for it. She's waiting for the trap. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. You have no need to mince words from Mr. Phoenix, Wright. Testify to the truth, and only the truth, just as if you were there with you that night. I believe it was a human. Damn, I just strengthened his testimony. Acro's statement jives with the facts. What's the matter, Right, nothing, Your Honor. Okay. We gotta figure out which was the right press. It was Max. I only saw him from mine, but that's who it looked like. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? The safety lights lit things up for me to see. Honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my house. It was the person's back. I couldn't see the white roses on the front. You see any of the other symbols? clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. That's a contradiction. That's a contradiction. Convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I get, but maybe there's something fishy about it. There's a contradiction there. There's a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? Silk hat. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Moe saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down at the window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside the window was tough enough a challenge for me. And that's a shame because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? I'm afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats? No. This is handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Means Acro? Even fibbing on the stand. Order! Order! As always, it looks like someone had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? Acro's the real culprit. Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What are you accusing him of? Obviously, we're accusing him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. Hahaha. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. She's waiting for this trap. You seem to have learned how to try and grab an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He really is staying rather calm and collected. And there's a bird poking at me! Mr. Dingling, do you have any responses to the defense's accusation? I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Take a good look, everyone, take a good look around me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand that Mr. Wright was just trying to help his client. But to this by accusing me of a murder of all things. See? Even a sliver of common sense makes the clear accusation is ludicrous. She's right, way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man! Phoenix is a poopy head! What? Jared, I've been called a poopy head! That's not nice! See that, Mr. Phoenix, right? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough out of this little game. I got a doctor's note to confirm Acro's unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well. I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. Say about this, Mr. Wright. Does the Acro have an accomplice? Damn it. I want to say he did, but now I can't really say without evidence. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. What? You're not going to sucker me into this one. You're blabbing on Mr. Wright. There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder by himself. This is one I want to figure out. Okay, if we assume that there weren't 2 people working together, let's take that Regina Berry thing out of the equation. If we're gonna assume that this was all, like, committed by a person, how did he do it? That's the question. Order! Order! What are you getting at? I'm gonna keep them on their toes, Nick. I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I'm gonna show how Acro really murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix, Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime scene was committed, where exactly was Mr. Dingling? Is it in his own room? He was obviously here the entire time. That's Akko's room. Pretty simple, eh? Akko wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there's gonna only be one correct answer. Akko didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? But the question is... like, what was the murder weapon? Look, sir, you, Mr. Dingling. It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that you propose is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You got a point. It seems you forgot once again, Mr. Phoenix, Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Maui said that he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, do you really think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right, I can't mess up here. I gotta give this one serious thought. Sure, Akko killed a ringmaster. He did it while he was in his room, no doubt about it. Time to enlighten us how Mr. Dingling could have committed the crime, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of the murder? Wait a second. Wait a second. Huh? No way. Are we really gonna... No. I wanted to say this, but I doubt this was that. No way. It's large, but how would that even be possible? Okay. I really want to know, but I don't know. But it would make a lot of sense. Look at this photo. If we're thinking the stand was there, no, I don't think the stand was there. All right, I'm gonna go with this. This was the new evidence we found during our investigation. What's that, a picture? It is indeed. The problem is that this item that's shown in the picture, the bust, it's quite a large bust because it is life-size. It is also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. See? This is how Acro was able to kill... But how would you bring it back up? Are you gonna say, like... Are we gonna say that he pulled it up using some invisible wires? The force of gravity and Maximilian's Galactica's ample bust. Order! Order! Are you saying the bus fell into the ringmaster? A rather simple crime, even if you were stuck in a wheelchair. Incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair into something so heavy? It's impossible. Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows I'm getting closer to the truth. Well, Acro. You can't run away from things this time. Ow! I watch what you say. If I were you, Mr. Phoenix, Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of this witness is material to this case. I demand we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? On karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense is a version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't you see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. That woman will sink to any low to win a case. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bus. I have a strong upper body working as an acrobat. Only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bus and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. It makes it impossible to know the location of the ringmaster's head. Must be unrealistic of me to drop the bus on him, don't you think? I have no doubt Sir Arge's witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bus and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention he could have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have been led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What's your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply starring. It's shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I gotta focus. Have you ever lifted up the bus before? No, I never actually lifted up with my own two hands. I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bus before? Please continue with your testimony, Mr. Ding. Do you think money had some... No way. Do you think the monkey was also perpetrator? I don't think so. So what have you been doing to keep up in shape? Honestly, I've been giving up on training. I don't have any plans for return to the trapeze or the tightrope. You don't say. But no offense, I'm not worried to losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? I wouldn't lose either. Slowpoke? I mean Nick? Whoa! How did the discussion turn to me all of a sudden? Suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I ended up falling out of the window myself. I still haven't got much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown the bus out the window. How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that my nerves are severely damaged. Probably undergoing some extremely intensive rehab. But still to take a while before I'm back to 100%. I mean to remind you of another very important part. The the witness was carrying the bus, he would not be able to see out below the window. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bus, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there's no way I would have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you got a point. Hey, Nick. Huh? What if you turn things around? Maybe you think sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, he could then drop the bus. That does make sense. Or I could prove somehow. What would be, Okay, what Maya's trying to say, if Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. If you have to do was drop it, then it wouldn't be a problem at all. All I had to do was drop it. You're right, I could have done that. However, there's no way I could have landed a direct hit on the ringmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Acro's strong enough to lift up the bus? Main problem is how he could have aimed for the ringmaster's head. I wonder if he used some kind of tool to aim for the ringmaster. That's a ticket, Nick. Show them what you've got. I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case. I don't remember you finding some sort of tool. We overlooked something. I think he used a target that was at the crime scene. And then, boom, you landed it on the head. Yeah, I think so. I think it's the box. I'm pretty sure. Like, if the box was used as, like, a target, if he was standing near the box, then boom, you're ready to throw the bus out the window, and boom, instant death. And all you have to do is just lift it back up, but I know this sounds insane, but I can't believe this is what I'm going for. Uh-oh. No! Wrong statement! Wrong statement. Oops. Yep. Unrealistic, you say, right? Acro, you didn't really need to lean out the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix, right? Enough, son. How about you show me some evidence as I bang my table right now? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes, I already explained things, Mr. Wright. May I assure you to take a look at this? The key point is this wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was hunched over. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment this ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean, if the bus were able to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, then there will be no way it could have missed the head of the victim. No! Order! This is unbelievable! Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward. Next question I have is who placed the wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope and all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix, right? Ow! Ow! The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made, indeed. It's the most peculiar feature. Uh, the weight of the size? The weight? Content? Was he really interested in the contents of the box? The weight of the box. Oh yeah! It was kinda light. There was only pepper inside when we found that when Gumshoe said. The box had a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required. Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. Box also carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Oh. You mean like the model of how to lift the box? Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you had to say. I must admit I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza? Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but he can never have done what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bus? I remember. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I like to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could have not possibly left the lodging house by myself. That means... You understand what I mean, don't you? It's the monkey. It has to be the monkey. I may, well, been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Mr. Phoenix, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Exactly how would the witness have carried the bus from the cafeteria? Yep, we definitely have a problem here, but this is no place to get perplexed. I gotta get my wits about me and prove things what happened once for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bus from back to the cafeteria? The monkey, of course. A monkey? Everyone knows money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole that ventriloquist's wing. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bus? Of course he didn't order the monkey just steal it. The monkey stole it on his own and brought it back home. Uh-oh. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room? The bus was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are some very nice cars he's holding. And they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. Yeah. Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order, order! I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where is the bus in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a rather strange turn of events, but let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bus. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait. Do you mean this bus was the murder weapon purely by accident? It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, think we more than prove with one critical fact. Namely that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! Argument is so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy, however. His argument does hold water, there's no denying that. Oh, don't be bit bamboozled by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix, right? And what is that? You should know. You got that your fraud was... that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let him beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. Murder occurred. There was 2 people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this, and only this, Mr. Phoenix, right? Who was the murderer the clown saw? Is it the bus? It's the bus, isn't it? I think it'd be pretty obvious. He dropped it, then he made sure it stood up.
Take that!
He saw Max. Ow. I asked who the other person Moe saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Au contraire, mon frère. Why are we speaking French all of a sudden? It does indeed have something to do with the question. Moe said he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't even a human being he saw. How was that possible? It's simple, really. What Moe actually saw that night was Max's bust. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette we saw was wearing a cloak as I keep banging my table.
Objection!
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bus. It would be easy to hang one off the cards in the bus's hands. Idiot, who in the right mind would put a cloak on a bus? It doesn't matter who put it on the bus. In a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bus? The question's most importance in this case, don't you agree? Duh, he caught me. So tell me, Mr. Wright, who put the cloak on the bus? He couldn't have put it. Impossible. Oh! Okay. Russell was wearing a cloak. He probably just took the... But, is that even true though? The question is, when he dropped the bus... I don't know. But this is the only answer I can agree with. Fool! Him? You saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry? That's what I'm saying. I mean, the victim himself placed the cloak on the bus? Placed the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. What would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a hand on all this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night. Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached the rope to the bus. He dangled the bus out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene, of course. At the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want to recognize him that night. It was just as he feared. He was spotted at the entrance at the lodging house. Another ended the ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trilo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is where the magic happens. The very instant the bus hit the victim, are we gonna assume that it just bounced onto the cards? Wait a second there, Mr. Phoenix. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this isn't true. Just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early for you to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? How did it bounce? You're expecting to leave the impact of the bus through the cloak up, which snagged onto the bus. Are we really gonna assume that the cloak just bounced up? Seriously? That's a big flaw. Impact also caused the sound to hurt a certain witness, prompting to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out the window, the cloak had already been snagged onto the bus. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bus being raised with the cloak dangling on it, primarily because in his wheelchair he couldn't see out his window, so he kept pulling the bus up. Seriously? And that is how the magical murder disappearing into the sky came to be. I still can't believe a cloak would just bounce onto the bus. This is the most ridiculous claim I've seen. Why? How would wouldn't a cloak literally be attached to you? Like, what the fuck? So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could have been only you. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this court, there are two things matter. Power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution see example good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method, but there is still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay, let's use that to get out of this jam. That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence that the court backs your claims. I want hard proof that you can unravel the trick behind to this magic case. I think it's the Silk Hat. Yeah, I think it is the Silk Hat. This crime happened would only happen if you were able to leave evidence behind at the crime scene. And that's the Silk Hat. Take Max's three symbols. The problem, you know, the Silk Hat, the cloak, the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yes, there were two contradictions in Moe's testimony. The Silk Hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool, do you ever shut up? Says the person who keeps talking. Max's Silk Hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Moe said yesterday. He testified that the criminal fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Moe saw was actually the bus. Makes sense if you look at it that way. He did see the silk hat, well, sort of. Fine, you got one. What about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed the white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The Clown said there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the incident when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what would happen to the white roses? Aw, you gotta be kidding me. Are we gonna assume the white roses would be gone? You get it? The cloak got snagged onto front of the bust. It means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Ah! Which explains why Moe didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's story still is about absurd to me. But let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took some time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think I didn't? If you did, then you maybe understand why you think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible depth of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Yeah, we don't have the motive. There's absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like to hear Akro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life until now. Well, what do we do? There's no doubting that Akro deeply respected the ringmaster, Akro's motive. Seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well, however, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This will take a 10-minute recess. I think I have an idea of what the motive could be. I proposed 2 theories, but I'll explain them out in the trial because I don't want to say it in this episode. So yeah, next time on EXI Justice for All, hopefully we get to do the final part of this very interesting trial. The ridiculously cloak got onto the bus. This is just BS right there. Guess I'll see you guys all next time.